Are you going to the public shelter at the moment? We can go to the public shelter and we can rescue dogs from Codlia. Yes, they allow us to go. We use protection. We wear masks. We keep the distance. So yes, it is possible to go there and to rescue dogs. Hi from Vienna. After this period goes, I wish to come and visit and find together solutions to make more for the animals. I say this to everybody. Whoever wants to come is more than welcome, because we always need help, and raising awareness, I think, is also very important, because not so many people know about how hard it is to work in a shelter, how hard it is to see so much suffering, and to work like we work every day, to work until you cannot work anymore. We've had days when at the end of the day we were all, hi Yvonne, we were all we just couldn't move, you know, and there's been a lot of days like this. But next day comes, you get some sleep, and then you know you have to do it again, because the goal of everything that we do is so much bigger than ourselves. And I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. Having found what makes our hearts filled with joy is, I think, the greatest thing in our lives. If you have any other questions, please write them down and I'm gonna try to answer them. Let's talk also about the future plans, because I'm the kind of person that doesn't want to just sit around and have the shelter in the same conditions over and over again. That's why in just a matter of 3 years we have done so much, and I think I believe in the law of attraction, and I think because of my way of being, I have attracted the best people to help with our dogs. I'm talking about Karina and Svenja from Hunde. I'm talking about the Pack Project from UK with Laura and Joe. I'm talking about Tierheim group Herzlich Willkommen from Germany. Every single partner that we have, the Pereira girls, Gemma and Laura. So the people that we work with at close, they are aligned with our goals. They know what we are fighting for, and they help the best that they can to achieve our goals. And right now, Hunde Europa, please check their pages and donate to them, because we want to make something incredible. We want to build a puppy and a kitten house. It's gonna be a big space where we're gonna make separate rooms, where we will be able to rescue more than 1,000 lives each year, dogs and cats. We will make 8 rooms for puppies, and we will make 6 rooms for cats, plus a lounging area, so a bigger space where we can stay and interact with the cats. Why is this important to make? This is important because whenever we find dogs on the street, our biggest problem is space. We don't have where to put them. If we found tomorrow, if I were to go near Brasov in my town in Herman, just to go on a walk, I would find 10 dogs right now. But we don't have the space to take on 10 dogs right now. And fosters, Romanians don't foster so much. I don't know why. I think it's because they get afraid of getting too attached to the animal. That's the ones that love animals, and the ones that don't love animals, they just don't care. So we have very few fosters. I think I can count them on one hand, the fosters that we have that are good and that understand that it's important to help a dog when they need it. So because we don't have so many fosters, and because this is all over Romania, it's not just in Brasov, nobody has fosters. I think we're one of the lucky ones that we have 5. We want to build these spaces where we can keep the puppies safe from any disease until they get vaccinated. Because the risk is that one puppy is sick, and then when one is sick, all the other ones get sick. So when we have these separate rooms with good disinfectant, with walls and floor that we can clean easily, then the risk of contamination and the risk of spreading the disease is close to nothing. So imagine what it would be like to have 8 separate rooms with 10 puppies each room. That's 80 lives. 80 lives. And we only need to keep them inside those rooms for about 1 month until we get them fully vaccinated. And then we can get them out into the kennels, and then there's no more risk. And then we can take another 80 and another 80 and another 80. You see where I'm going with this? We can rescue on and on. And this is an investment that we're doing once. We're building the puppy and the kitten house once. And then we have it for the next years. We're gonna rescue in the next 10 years 10,000 lives. Please go to Hunde page. Please look at their site, and please donate for this cause, because it's very, very important that we also think sustainable. What are we doing now to make an impact for next years? You know, what are we doing now to we are doing something efficient and good to stop puppies from being born with the spaying campaign, but the ones that are actually born on the field because there was nobody to take a female to get her castrated, then for them we need space, and we can only make this space if you help us and if you donate. Are there any more questions? Or else I'm gonna keep talking about the plants. I'm gonna keep talking about whatever pops in my head. I love what we do. I really do. It's an incredible work, and the people are great, and the partners are great. I think you have a dog from Romania. Super. I think rescuing a dog is the best thing that somebody else can do, because whenever you rescue a dog and you adopt a dog from Romania, think about it like this: you're not only saving one life, you're actually saving 2 lives. You're saving the life of the dog that you already adopted, and you're saving the life of the dog that is gonna fill that space. You know what I mean? So you're rescuing 2 lives: the one you adopted and the one that is gonna fill the space. And with this thought in your mind, adopt more. Stop buying from shitty sites. Some in Romania, we have a very huge and popular site. It's called OLX. It's just a Romanian platform. Everybody who's in Romania is gonna know what I mean. And there you can find so many dogs and cats for sale. And of course, they're not dogs that are from a breeder. They're dogs that have made it in the backyard, and they had puppies, and then people sell them to make money. And Romanians are so gullible that they're actually buying these dogs, and they're actually these dogs come with so many diseases. They have parvo, they're not vaccinated, the papers are forged, they're false, but nobody seems to care, and it's going on and on. It's like puppy mills. This is I think the term, puppy mills. So I think instead of buying a puppy and giving that money to somebody who's not going to use it well, and who's going to continue to breed that female again in 6 months and again in 6 months and again, you would be doing much more good donating that money to a charity and adopting a dog. And I promise you, the dog that you're going to adopt is going to love you, and is going to be grateful, and is going to fill your heart and your life in a way that you can't even imagine. It's going to fill so many holes you didn't even know they were there to fill. So adopt. That's what I have the deepest respect for people. I have the deepest respect for people who adopt dogs from Romania. Thank you, Fraser. Thank you. We're doing a great job together, because we're Romanians and our partners in Germany and England and everybody together. We are making a difference, and we're saving lives. There is a saying, and it says, if you cannot adopt, then foster. If you cannot foster, then donate. If you cannot donate, then spread the word. And I think it has a lot of meaning and a huge impact, because this is how everybody can get involved to do something. You know, they can do their tiny piece, their little thing to make a contribution. Adopting, fostering, donating, and they're sharing the information. This is what was your most emotional moment in rescuing? Man. I think I've had a lot. Karina, I've had a lot. I'm gonna say the best emotional and then the hardest emotional. The first emotional was when the first dog that I ever rescued left for adoption. And the first dog that I ever rescued was called Sina. She is now in Austria. The story of her saving, I was still working back then. I was driving from Bucharest to Brașov after a meeting. I was working in a multinational company before. And she was on the side of the road in the rain, and just staying there in the cold, trembling like this. And I stopped the car, I went down, I took her in, I put her in the car, and then I said, oh my god, what am I gonna do with this dog? What am I gonna do? So I called a friend who had a yard, and I asked her to please keep this dog until I figure out what to do. I'm gonna give her whatever she needs. I'm gonna take her to the vet. I'm gonna buy her food. I'm gonna do whatever. And then after Sina became another one, and then another one, and then another one, and soon there were a lot. Sina stayed with us for about 2 years until she got adopted. And when she got adopted, it was crazy. Something happened to transport. They couldn't leave on the date that they were supposed to leave. And we drove, me and Christy, we drove all the way to the border to Arad. We met with the adopter who came from Austria to Arad, and it was magic. It was magic. We hand delivered Sina to the adopter directly. It was fantastic. It was the biggest, most emotional thing ever, because I got to see how transport people feel when they're giving the dogs to very excited adopters and fosters. It was amazing, the feeling, and we still keep in touch. And she's left almost 3 years now, even more. I think she's going on 4. And she has the best life. She's going everywhere. She's going through the mountains. She's learned so much. She's just an incredible, amazing little dog. And that was the first one, and it was really, really emotional. It was like a roller coaster, you know. I was happy for her because she got adopted, but then I was sad because, you know, she was my dog, and I rescued her first, and there were a lot of mixed emotions. And the hardest thing that we had to do, I don't know if you remember Tony. Tony was he was a small dog. We rescued him last year, I think. Cesar was born. Tony, and he was a small dog, reddish dog. We rescued him from the street. He had a lot of problems on the inside. He had renal failure and liver failure, and he had also pulmonary edema. And because he was struggling so much, we had to put him to sleep. He had, from the first time that he came to the shelter, he then came and stayed in my house. He was living in my kitchen, where we are now. He was such an amazing old little dog, and I wished from the bottom of my heart for him to find a home and to, you know, explore more and see more and do more, because even though he was in my house, my life is so busy, and I honestly I didn't have so much time to spend with him and to interact with him. It was just a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, and then working. And for him, I really wished a lot, and he was struggling so bad that we had to put him to sleep. We were taking him every day to the vets. He had gone through dialysis, but he wasn't improving, and he was really struggling, and he couldn't breathe so well. So yeah, that was I think the emotional but negative, because I cried like stupid for so many days. I cried a lot for all the dogs that have died. And I've had a lot of dogs that I really, really wanted for them to live, and then they didn't. And it made me sad, because I always thought maybe if we would have gotten there faster or earlier, or tried a different treatment, or I don't know, have a miracle, maybe they would have lived. We don't have so many dogs that have died. I mean, don't think it's 10 or 15 dogs that have died in 5 years, which I think is a good number, considering that we've rescued almost more than 2,000. 10-15 dogs is not so much, but it makes I'm not the kind of person that gets stuck in the numbers. I know every single dog that died. I know their story. I know their background. I know how they felt. I know how we took care of them. I know everything. But if you put me to just not say how many dogs are now in your shelter, I have no idea. But I know every single dog's story. I know the kennels. I know where they are. I can visualize it in my head, which dog in which kennel he is, who he stays with, what's his story. I know it in my heart, in my brain, but I'm not good with numbers, so don't ask me that. It's always gonna be roundabout and the number. So roundabout 10-15 dogs have died with us. How and why did you start with rescuing? Well, I had a dog like everybody else, and I also was one of the people who took a dog from a breeder and was stupid enough to not make their homework and then not read about it on the internet and not get informed and not know so much. And I took a Labrador, and at 1 year and a half he died because he had a congenital defect in his heart. His heart was double in size and it was still growing, and then eventually he died of a heart attack. And that's why I started volunteering. That's why I started going to shelters, because I wanted to honor his life, and I didn't want I didn't want his life to be in vain. And then when I saw the horrible situation in shelters in Romania, when I saw how bad the situation with the dogs on the street is, I made a decision. You know, I decided that I was not gonna be just somebody who looks at this and sees that there's a problem and just says, but it's not in my power to fix it. I decided that it is in my power, and I decided that I want to do something and fix it. And I knew that I had not the knowledge, because I didn't know so much. I didn't know back then what I know now, but I started with an open heart, and I started with the idea that I wanted to do something good, and I wanted to make an impact, and I wanted to not see dead animals on the street or so much suffering in 10 years. That was the goal. You know, my goal 5 years ago when I started was that in 10 years I don't see so many animals on the street anymore. And after Cesar was born, this is again something that got reinforced, because when he is bigger, I don't want him to go to the emotional trauma that we're going through every single day. I want him to live in a Romania that is, and in a Brașov and in a town where people understand and are empathic with animals, where the next generation is involved, where the next generation is volunteering, where children come to the shelter to walk the dogs, to interact with the dogs, to make their own little impact with helping the rescue. They also would educate the ones that don't have access to technology or to the internet or to information. This is the Romania that I want to live in. And with this in mind, I started the rescue. And Care for Dogs Romania was born. It's in the name. We want to care for dogs. And this is what we do every day. We care for them because there's a saying in Romania. It says, somebody needs to do something. And we decided, and I decided, that I was somebody. I wasn't just anybody. I was somebody who was going to do something about it. What would you say to people who prefer to buy a dog from a breeder because they think it's the safer, easier option? I would say go to the shelter, to the closest shelter that is within your reach, within your area, and look around. And if you go out of that shelter without taking a dog, then you shouldn't have a dog in the first place. Because I've seen over 3,000 dogs until now, and I can say with an open heart, they're all the same. They all, if you give them time and energy, and if you invest in them, you will always get good results. They are happy about the same things. They like to live life to the fullest. The rescue dogs will be so much grateful and appreciative of the fact that you've offered them paradise when they live their life on the streets, that I think you will never regret it. But this is the main idea. If you walk into a shelter and there's not one single dog to touch your heart, and you still go to the breeder, then you're wanting a dog for the wrong reasons, and you shouldn't get a dog. I think this answers your question. Maybe it sounds a little bit harsh, but it's the truth. They're dogs. The tail is gonna wag no matter what. They're gonna be happy when they receive food and when they get belly rubs. The only difference is money. And I encourage everybody to adopt and to donate to the shelter or to the charity or to the organization the money that they wanted to spend on a breed dog. Of course, I don't know if everybody knows this, but all the dogs that are leaving from Romania, from us, to Germany or England or whatever, Holland, France, they all live with a passport, a microchip. They are spayed or neutered if they're old enough. They are vaccinated 2 or 3 times with us, so they have immunity and they don't get ill of something else. We do a polyvalent vaccine. We do a booster to that vaccine, and we also do the kennel cough one. So when a dog leaves Romania, you can be absolutely sure that he has been checked by a vet, by us. We have done the best that we can to get that dog to be happy and healthy, and you are receiving a dog where you don't have to invest so much in it anymore, because it's just a happy, healthy dog who has everything. And you can just enjoy your life with him. Think about how much money you're saving actually getting a rescue dog instead of getting a breed dog, and then you're paying the breeder and you have to then go and make all the vaccinations and all the paperwork and everything else aside from that money. Thank you, Kim. I'm happy you like the answer. It's actually the truth. It's what I feel and what I live by. Panda is 2.5 weeks with us now. Yes, we know, and we follow you, Panda, every single day. You're amazing. You are so happy, and I know you're happy because we follow whatever dog we know that has Instagram. We follow you on Facebook. We follow on the groups. We're all me and the team. Everybody is super excited whenever we see the dogs that are happy. And they're on the couch, or they're going on a walk, or they're so smart and they know all these tricks and they can give paw. It's amazing. I cannot describe in words the feeling that we have when we see our Romanian dogs are so smart. But they really are, and genetically they're strong. They're dogs that have had to withstand horrible conditions, minus 20 degrees in winter time, plus 40 degrees in summer, and they are still alive. They have to be smart. They have to be resilient. They're the best. Romanian dogs are the best. Rescue dogs are the best. We love you and your team so much. You are our heroes. Thank you, thank you. We do it for the same reason that you adopted Panda. Because saving a dog is worth it. And you are changing the life for that dog for the rest of his life, and it's something that just doesn't go away. It doesn't go away, no matter what you do. I will always have, sometimes I imagine, I don't know if anybody thinks about their death, but if I were to die, I would be happy because I know that my life counted and I made an impact and we've rescued so many dogs, and I didn't just live an egotistical life just for myself or my family or the people that are close to me. I lived it bigger and with meaning. I had a life with meaning. And that at the end of the day, I think that's all that matters, that we find meaning in whatever we do. Thank you. If there aren't any more questions, the hour that we had is almost done. I want to thank you very much for joining, for asking the questions, for being a part of this amazing journey, for adopting from us, for following us, for supporting us. Please don't forget, Hunde Europa, please follow them and see all the details about the puppy house that we want to, and the kitten house that we want to build, and donate, because this is how we're changing lives. Day after day, building after building, dream after dream. Thank you very much. Have all a good night.